What's going on, y'all? Soge King to a God in the building. We're talking about One Piece, chapter 1086. It was a crazy chapter. I know it's been pretty long since I made a last video, since I was waiting for One Piece 1087 to come out since Oda took that break, and I just wanted to be patient, kind of wait until the week of to get back into it, give myself a little break, give Oda a break, and just kind of focus and refocus on my own direction. But now it is the week. 1087 is finally coming back. Twitter, I'm seeing spoiler notices, but I haven't seen anything. I'm still clean. So in this video, I'm just going to talk about 1086, some of the things that came from it, some of the thoughts that I think we should be having moving forward. Thing number one, I would like to talk about this is Sabo a fraud. There's a lot of people talking about, Cobra survived attacks that had Sabo screaming. I think it's more of a will to live thing. Like Cobra got hit and he basically wanted to get his last words on Sabo. It wasn't more so that Cobra and Sabo have the same kind of stamina. Cobra could take attacks that hurt Sabo even more. I just think it was more of something closer to story driven reasons why Cobra survived that. I wouldn't power scale this too much, but people love to power scale and they love to talk shit. People talk shit about Mihawk for some reason, even though Mihawk is just on a different level, and it's obvious by Oda's implication throughout the story Mihawk's on a different level. But I won't talk about Mihawk too much here because he wasn't in the chapter. Is Sabo a fraud? Definitely not. I think people need to cut Sabo some slack, for real. But one other thing that is mentioned throughout this chapter is the idea that Sabo has this checkered fate, that he is kind of attached to the D's in some way, and I think that is going to be something we have to look more into. We see the word checkered fate be mentioned by Law as well. So is Sabo and Law going to be connected in some way? Are they going to have this meaning of what it means to be in this checkered fate, or is it a different character? One thing we're not hearing from the Gorosei at this time is anything about Nika. I want to know how Nika is related to the Gorosei in general, because the Gorosei are the ones who dropped that information during the Wano Country arc. So it just seems like they dropped that information and it was isolated. How does Nika relate to Imu? So it's just something that I feel like is a little like a loose end. To be honest, the whole Wano part feels like kind of in its own section of the story, because a lot of that stuff hasn't been brought back up yet. Even stuff like Zunisha. How come Imu hasn't, if Imu's from then, maybe Imu knew something about Zunisha, but Imu never mentions that, right? They don't even tell Imu about the elephant that arrived in Wano. I want to know how Imu himself reacted to the Nika coming back and stuff like that, but we're not getting that. So hopefully moving forward, that's something we see. Next, Vivi's role moving forward. So we kind of see Vivi is wanting to be retrieved by Imu, and Vivi is on this ship with Morgans, or in his plane with Morgans. So Vivi is in a position where she can kind of be going anywhere. Somehow we know that Morgans was leaked information about what's going on Egghead. So could Morgans be heading for Egghead for the scoop? What is Vivi's plans? We need to know more about Vivi going forward, but I feel like Vivi could end up in a bunch of different situations. A lot of people, I feel, are expecting Vivi to go back with the Straw Hats. I kind of do, but I just want to know how soon, because I feel like anything can happen at this moment and it's kind of left up in the air. Imu was a big portion of this chapter. We see Ivankov kind of name drop Saint Imu of Nerona. So we're kind of in a situation where we know that Imu's one of the original 20, the 19 who stayed, that whole thing. And Imu has this thing called the Mother Flame. Now, earlier in the Egghead arc, we see this whole conversation by Vegapunk talking about who is going to have this Mother Flame, or how they can make this energy source that's everlasting, this flame. And then Imu in this chapter talks about, how they chose Leloucia Kingdom because its proximity. It kind of gives you the implication that the ancient weapon or whatever they're using to destroy Leloucia Kingdom can't go very far. So whatever the Mother Flame is, it's incomplete. That would be my idea. But maybe my headcanon for this would be that the Vegapunk who wants to become a celestial dragon, she knows how to complete the Mother Flame, so that could be her bargaining ticket to getting in with Emu. But it's kind of like a wait and see thing. The Mother Flame's definitely interesting, and we haven't gotten like the Pluton, Uranus name drop just yet. So I want to know how this connects to everything. I want to know just all the ancient weapons. I still feel like we're waiting on the information about Momonosuke. Is Momonosuke himself an ancient weapon? We do know that, you know, Odin says that someone would be able to come and speak to Zunisha, and Momonosuke for that reason feels like he should not die. So we know that Momonosuke is special in some way. Momonosuke is a really important character. His role in the story has yet to be fulfilled because they literally left it on a cliffhanger at the end of Wano. We never figured out what was in Odin's logbook. So we do have more information that we need to learn, basically, that was never talked about. In this chapter, we got the name drop for all the 5 elder planets. We see them all here. Jay Garcia, Marcus Mars, Topman Mercury, Baron Nusjuro, and then Shepard J. Peter. So that's basically all of them. They basically have their own title, like defense, environmental, justice, finance, agriculture. I feel like this is interesting information, but what we need to know is, are these people battle hardened? So they're going to Jay Garcia is going to Egghead. So is that going to be something Luffy fights? How much of a threat is this going to be? And how are they going to exactly get out of this situation? The Seraphim, the last Seraphim have been revealed. Different from how the other Seraphim were revealed. These ones are just kind of thrown at us. We don't really get like that firsthand view of them. Maybe we'll see them interact with like Buggy's crew, or we'll see something like that. Unfortunately, Mihawk will never go face to face with his Seraphim, right now at least, but Crocodile could see the Crocodile Seraphim. I do think that we have a potential to see at least one more Seraphim, which would be Seraphim Ace. You know, Ace was locked up at the same time that Mr. One was locked up, and we see Mr. One's Devil Fruit in Seraphim Mihawk, S-Hawk. So it is possible that they could have gotten whatever data from Ace at that point, you know, whatever data they got for like the Devil Fruits they could have gotten from Ace while he was locked up in Marineford. I think that would be a big twist that we see moving forward, and that would be something that would make it hard for Luffy to fight. We're still waiting on this Kuma information. I feel like a lot of this arc moving forward will kind of shift focus back to Bonnie and Kuma, so we can get to the end of this arc, and then all this other information, stuff about Blackbeard, stuff about you know, Emu, all that stuff about Shanks, stuff about Garling, all that stuff is going to be kind of sprinkled throughout the chapter, leading us towards its end and into the next arc. Kind of the same way, you know how One Piece does. Focus on one part as the main like meal, and then sprinkle out some other knowledge stuff to keep us excited about moving forward. And then lastly, we're going to talk about Garling. I think that Garling was a really interesting character to bring up. What is his relationship? We do know that he's Figureland, and thanks to One Piece Film Red, we all know that, you know, Shanks is related to Figureland in some way. So what exactly is Garling's relation to Shanks? Does Garling know about Shanks, and Garling probably doesn't even care about Shanks, but it'll be interesting to see him moving forward. Last thing I want to say is, what is going to happen with the next chapter, 1087. Now, my expectation is that we go back to Egghead. Are we going to go back to Egghead first? Probably, I feel like. What we do in Egghead is up to Oda. I feel like that's not really something I can guess. But I would say that I hope that we get like maybe one line from Garling, maybe something related to Shanks, maybe something related to where Garling's going moving forward, like what his mission is, and then we get a full-on Egghead arc. I hope that we start off with Sanji. I want to know how Sanji versus Jinbei is going, or S-Shark, and yeah, or maybe just an update on all the Straw Hats. I hope Frankie was able to find a way out of that stone statue, and yeah, I think that characters like Usopp, I hope that he has something in this arc. It's been so long since we've gotten any Usopp like hype moments, a battle moment, something where he overcomes. Like in Wano, he didn't really get to overcome anything. I was really looking forward to him versus Page One, and that never happened. So yeah, I think that we kind of just need something for some of these characters. What's going to happen with Nami? What's going to happen with Sanji? What's going to happen with Robin? How is this death game going to work out? And when are we going to get Bonnie and this Kuma backstory, which I'm really excited about? We just came back from a flashback, so I feel like going straight into another flashback would be kind of not super exciting, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Let me know what you guys think about 1086 and what you guys are expecting for 1087. Thank you so much. Peace.